Nowadays, in the competitive world, it is very difficult to earn higher profit. In such a scenario, how about utilizing a simple tool that can double your profit, double your productivity, double your throughput. Throughput here means you are able to do double the quantity that you were making so far. If you are making 1000 bolts, you are able to make 2000 bolts by using these simple tools. How about knowing this? This will be very interesting and very useful. Hi, this is Jagdish Kumar doing this presentation for you on lean management. My objective here is to make this very useful tool very simple to understand and implement in your respective areas, because many leading companies found that they were able to double their profitability, productivity and throughput using this simple. Now, many global level companies had their own perception that they were doing the jobs perfectly. They had a doubt within themselves, or they were curious to know, are we really productive, or are we having so many opportunities to improve because we are not doing well enough. With this curiosity, they decided to go for an approach like this. All the companies involved form small teams of experts within the organization. Then they decided to do independent assessment of the organizations. For example, the team from company A visited company B and audited. Team from B visited company C and audited, so that there was independence in their assessment. Here is the outcome. They conducted independent assessment and their study revealed that 60 to 70% of their working was non-productive wastes, because they were not contributing to the business, or they were not contributing to the productivity of the company. If 60 to 70% are waste happening in global companies, what would be the scenario in ordinary companies? You can imagine. There is a huge problem for organizations, but if you look from the positive scale, there is a huge opportunity also, because in management they say higher the pain, higher the gain. As a business owner, or as a manager, or as a team leader, you must always look for what are my top pain areas, more critical problems, and solve them. Simple problems you can solve easily, but their value addition or the gain from them is very trivial, very less. So higher the problem, then, and if you solve, higher the profitability also. Higher the pain, higher the gain. The pain and gain are two sides of the same coin. This is the management philosophy. So instead of getting embarrassed, which was the case initially, the global companies decided now we will turn this into an opportunity. The simple approach of identifying non-value added contents, which we can call as waste, and removing them led to doubling their profits, doubling their throughputs, doubling their productivity, of course, and doubling their manpower also. In the sense, 50% of the manpower was enough to do the same job. But those companies were magnanimous enough not to retrench anybody. They reskilled them and placed them in their new plants, thereby doubling their capacity and helping the organization to double their business too. Now, as we are curious to know, if up to 80% can be non-value added and waste, if they are eliminated, you can double your profit or productivity. What is that tool to use? That is nothing but lean management tool. Now, when we talk about lean, what comes to your mind? Removing unwanted fats, removing unwanted contents. It is as simple as that, but how to apply in an organization, how to apply in your business, I'll give the easier steps moving. Now, let us understand what is lean management, because we understood lean management can have enormous potential in terms of doubling your profitability, throughput and productivity. It is all about identifying the wastes. Now, the question will come, what are the wastes I should identify? I'll cover this in the next slide in detail. What are the 8 types of wastes to know, and if you identify them, how you can start with your lean management. So first, identify the waste. Second, eliminate these wastes, because you know the root cause for these wastes, you know the reason for these wastes, you can easily eliminate. The difficult portion is to identify the waste. That is where my next slide becomes very, very important. Then eliminate, not just reduce the waste, eliminate should be your target. You need to be more aggressive to more benefit from the tool. Continuous improvement in the above. You identify waste, eliminate. Again, identify waste, eliminate that particular waste. This should be an ongoing process. This is called as continuous improvement. Looking for a action. You should aim that I'm going to eliminate all the waste that are happening in my area. If that is the case, by reducing and eliminating these waste, you are enhancing your profitability even up to the extent of 80. That is called as 20/80. Huge benefit for the company. This is the simple tagline the global companies are using in their workplaces. Hate wastages, eliminate them. Very simple. This is lean management. Now the most important slide comes. Let us understand what are the ways we should keep in our minds and eliminate. The first is transport. Transport is movement of item from one location to another distant location. Say from the company to the subcontractor and vice versa. You may ignore the cost of transport in your cost calculations. Please do not do that. I had a case in my earlier company where we had to transport items from Bangalore to one of the northern units, get it done there just to use the idle capacity there. When we brought back, to our horror, we found transport costs became more than the selling price. So please be sensitive to this concept, which many people ignore and suffer the losses. Next wastage is high inventory. Excess inventory. What is the problem with the inventory? You know what is inventory? The material waiting in the stores or in the shop floor, say, or being picked up and used in the production. Till then, the idling material is an inventory, and with the excess inventory, the problems start like this. You need a larger space for holding them. You need a larger, bigger effort to maintain them clean and in good condition. You need more manpower. You also find that the money is locked there, thereby you lose your interest money there, as well as the principal amount also you are not able to convert into liquidity because it is locked there as a non-moving material for the time being. So inventory is a huge aspect to be careful about in your organization. Do not have excess inventory. Now, how to reduce the inventory and control the inventory in easy steps? Please use an approach called as ABC analysis. Wherein 20% of the items in your store, if you have around 2000 items, maybe around 40 items are A-class items, top high-cost items, which if you monitor and control the inventory to the optimum level, you will find your inventory cost coming down drastically, and your performance in terms of inventory cost reduction becomes tremendous to the extent of 80%. Huge gain you can realize by using the ABC principle. Unnecessary motion to be avoided. For example, motion here means what unnecessary actions I do on my workbench. There was a case in one of the products. We were using 8 different types of screws to assemble the item. This was because the design was done by 8 different agencies. Now you can look at and imagine the difficulty of the operator. 8 different types of screws to be put in the right slots, 8 different types of screwdrivers to be lifted and screws to be tightened. If a wrong screw were to be put in the wrong slot because it is made of plastic, thread damage happened, leading to the entire base material being wasted. So what we did was we questioned ourselves why 8 types of screws. Finally, we could find that we could standardize them into one type of screw. Now look at the benefit. Only one type of screw to procure, one type of inventory to control, one type of screwdriver to use. In case of earlier situation where 8 screws were there, all the 8 screws had to be procured. There would be cost of procurement. All the 8 types had to be monitored for inventory. All the 8 types were to be available in the shop floor. Even if one type of screw were to be not there, the entire production came to a halt. Look at the comfort now realized. So unnecessary motion, unnecessary waiting. Please remember, in business or in an organization, time is money. An operator idling can cost the company up to 1,200 to 2,000 rupees per hour. This is the kind of loss happens when people idle. Even to small extent could be in different areas cumulatively. Avoid wasting by good planning, proactively seeing that all the requirements from the customers are captured, all the requirements and materials are available, and the production is happening hassle free. Overproduction is another major waste that happens, especially in the current scenario where items become obsolete within few 2 or 3 years. If we overproduce, the item may become non-saleable and dead inventory. We call it as dead inventory in finished goods store, which now is a compounded loss, because initially as raw material you would have lost the money as raw material, but now you would lose much bigger money in terms of money invested on converting the material, value addition in terms of workmanship, electricity and so on, and high cost item now gets scrapped. So this is where overproduction is very dangerous and to be guarded against. Here the thumb rule for any smooth flowing production line is you can have a buffer stock of 20% extra than your expected demand, not more than that. Next, these are the things to look for: over processing. What do we mean by over processing? I overdo the work on my days. For example, we had a situation in one of the companies where the company standard told that the chemical cleaning for an item before it was actually say cleaned and packed for say aerospace requirement, company standard told there should be 3-tank cleaning, but I found it very difficult to maintain 3-tank system. There are more chemicals to procure. There is a lot of restriction from pollution control boards legally to procure chemicals. They always insist on procuring very less quantities or give permits only for low quantities of acids and so on. Finally, I questioned myself, why three times cleaning methodology? If one cleaning suffices for my aerospace requirement, why not? I took customer into confidence, gave the samples for them to verify the dust level was much less. The item was clean enough with one cleaning. I proceeded with the now simplified means I avoided over processing. Thereby my chemical consumption became 1/3. Safety became much better now, because only one tank, one operator and one set of focused safety precautions to take. And on disposal side also, I had to only dispose 1/3 the acid. The disposal also costs money now under EMS or ISO 14001. When you have hazardous materials for disposal also, you have to pay the money. So over processing, the benefit you understood now. Defects are another huge waste to happen. You create the defect by any means because your process is not good. Say for example, process requires improvement, and these defects, once you repair, the time spent on repair is a wasted time. That's a huge resource that gets wasted. In one case, to our surprise, we found 35% of rework was happening and 35% wastage was happening in the particular department. We could bring it down. Now realizing and recognizing the waste is very important. If you recognize, then you can find easily the way to reduce and eliminate and create huge benefit for the organization. As you generate defects, if the item becomes non-repairable, now you can see the scenario, entire item becomes a waste, scrap, and you lose the huge money. So we understood the 7 types of waste here. Tim Wood is a simple word, tag word to help you to remember this, where T stands for unnecessary transport, I stands for unnecessary inventory, M stands for unnecessary motion, W stands for unnecessary waiting, time is money. The first O stands for overproduction, second O stands for over processing, and the D stands for defects. There is one more to remember, the 8th type of waste, which is happening largely in industries: unused talent. People have lot of talents, yes, and we are not tapping their talents to the full extent. This happens in almost every organization, as I have said. The most important resource for an organization, let us recognize, is people. If you tap people's talent, you can convert your organization into a very high productive, high innovative company, because The organization's growth is directly linked to the talented people the organization has and the talent of the people, how to what extent the organization is able to tap and convert that into innovation and business. Now we understood 8 types of waste, and let us just recap. Now lean management is the tool that can create double profit, double productivity, double throughput minimum. And what is lean management? Identify the waste. What are the waste? These are the 8 types of waste to look for. After identification of the waste through common sense, you can do this: eliminate the waste. So eliminate the waste, your profitability goes up, your wastages come down drastically. Don't stop there. Make this a continuous movement. Look for continuous improvement in terms of identifying new types of waste and eliminating them, and so on. Look for perfection in your work area. Suddenly you will realize that you have doubled your profit, you doubled your throughput, you have doubled your productivity minimum by using such a simple tool. One example would be Toyota production system. Way back, Toyota implemented a concept called TPS, and that became world famous. The concept was same: identify the waste, eliminate, continually improve, and look for perfection in terms of eliminating waste after waste and seeing that your area does not have any waste. Now I take this opportunity to show this picture because there is a proverb: one picture is worth 1,000 words. If you can display this picture in your workplace and sensitize the people to identify these types of waste happening in their area. Once you identify, it is easy to solve. There will be means to solve. And once you eliminate the waste, you become AA or AAA. Coming back to auto production system, by implementing this simple approach of identifying waste, eliminating, continually improving, and then looking for perfection, they could double their productivity, they can halve their selling prices, and thereby their market penetration become 20% extra, which would have billions of dollars of benefit. They had 50% people excess also. People thought of going on strike, but the the magnanimous CEO told them nobody will be retrenched. He expanded the plant, doubled the capacity without much investment, used the people's talent, reskilling the people there, and gained a huge market benefit and a huge brand name for. So simple tool, but very highly powerful and effective. This is what is the message I would like to convey to you. Please subscribe to my channel to see more useful videos way forward. If you have not subscribed, below my video presentation you will get a red button. Please press, and if you have subscribed already, it will show subscribe. Please subscribe and encourage us to come out with more and more presentations and be able to reach more and more people. And please remember, quality is a journey. What is good today is no more good tomorrow. A car in 1990s, say, it was giving 8.5 km per liter was the best mileage. Now will you purchase? You will not. Your expectation is 24 km per liter. So quality is a journey. You should keep on improving. And there's a proverb: if you do not do, your competitor will do better than you and will be pumped away from the market. Best tool to double your profitability, productivity, and throughput is lean management, which we discussed, which is very simple. Identify 8 types of waste, eliminate, continually improve, look for perfection by eliminating all the various types of waste happening in your. I take this opportunity to sincerely thank you for all your